Save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry. Come to Norm's Bargain Barn with locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
This is the Verizon Extra Innings Show. Verizon, the most reliable 5G in St. Louis.
The pitch. Ground ball to the right side, and that's played by Perez, feeding Estevez. This ball game has come to an end. Donovan is out, first base to the pitcher covering, and the Royals gain a split in the doubleheader, and they've won 2 out of 3 over the Cardinals, winning this one 7-5.
A long day of baseball wraps up with the Cardinals losing to Kansas City to lose the series 2 out of 3. The day started on a really good note when the Cardinals came away with a 10-inning victory, a walk-off win for Wilson Contreras in his 1,000th career game. But certainly right now, a lot of focus on Matthew Liberatore and him coming out of the game. Did not have a lot of velocity on his pitches. We heard from Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol just a little while ago saying that Liberatore was not synced up, that they did test on him just to make sure. That's why they went with fatigue-related issues. He'll come back in tomorrow, and they'll take a look at him, but certainly something to keep an eye on here moving forward. He was not very effective today, giving up 7 runs on 8 hits in his 4+ innings. Welcome into the Extra Innings Show here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley. Multiple ways to get connected with the program today. You can call or text 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Or you can leave a message on the video chat if you're watching us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. We are there for you, and we will take your messages for sure. Wanted to start with this. It took a little while for Matthew Liberatore to come out to talk to the media in the Cardinals clubhouse, but he did get out there. Kudos to our guy, Kyle Sixta, for hanging out and waiting for him. This was Matthew Liberatore talking through what exactly happened tonight.
Just describe that feeling.
Yeah, just out of sync, working around everything. Different body parts going in different directions and not towards the plate.
Was that from the start, or did it develop throughout the game?
Actually felt pretty good in the first inning. Felt like stuff was lively, pretty synced up, and then I got out of sync, and I just failed to make the adjustment the rest of the outing.
That's something you've experienced before in the start?
Probably not to that extent, but, I mean, yeah, over the course of the season, you're going to have times where you feel synced up and kind of lose the feel for it and find it again. Just didn't find it again tonight.
Libby, was your concern more of just being out of sync more than the general fatigue?
Yeah, I wasn't concerned about pain or fatigue or anything. I was going to keep pitching until they ripped the ball out of my hands, which is unfortunately what ended up happening. But just kept trying to figure out how to make the adjustment and ran out of time.
They called it fatigue-related issues. Is the reason why you left? And like you're talking about, like almost mechanical stuff, and it's also been one of 2 hot, humid days. Are these all related? Is that where the description comes from?
I mean, yeah, everything probably has a hand in it. I think when you get out of sync, it's not as easy to maintain velocity, and you get fatigued quicker. I don't know if it was a fatigue and then an out of sync issue first. I think that it was more of a mechanical out of sync that led to some fatigue, just trying to fight through those mechanical issues.
Trying to generate more.
96 in the first inning, and then 89 that inning. Does that just show if you don't have all the parts going in the right direction, what can happen?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Was this something that was going on, like, or were the discussions with the staff going on throughout the game? I mean, obviously, we saw them come out there and talk to you when they decided to take you out, but was there ongoing discussion throughout the outing?
They asked before I went back out for that last inning, and I told them the same thing I told them when I came out. It doesn't feel like there's a ton behind it right now, but nothing hurts. I just need to get synced back up.
How do you normally approach it when it happens during the start? What's the fix, or is there?
I think that's kind of where you turn to your toolbox. We spend so much time working on our crafts and developing cues and adjustments that we can make and learning ourselves. And I think I've metaphorically went through every tool I had in my toolbox today to try and right the ship, and none of the tools fit.
What kind of the next few days will look like, just kind of work to get that back in sync?
Yeah, I mean, not that much different than after any of my other outings. There's things to take away from today that I can learn from, a couple of good things that I did today, but the mechanical focus is probably going to be the primary thing. moving into this next outing. And, I'm not concerned about it. I don't think anybody else is overly concerned about it. It's just a matter of finding it again and being able to stay consistent with it.
Ollie mentioned going through tests during the game. Was that just like mechanical stuff with Adams, checks and flexibility and stuff, or did you have to get imaged or anything?
No imaging. That was all just standard testing, make sure everything was right, make sure we check all the boxes.
Thanks, Libby.
Thanks.
That's Matthew Liberator speaking with the media just a few moments ago. So there you hear it from him himself about how he was feeling. It just seems like they called it fatigue related issues. It really does sound like mechanical related issues, like he just couldn't get his body in sync, and as a result of that, his velocity went way down, and he had a hard time throwing strikes. Now, what Oliver Marmol said was really important when it comes to this. If you are not synced up and therefore your velocity is dropping significantly, like he was throwing 88, 89, then you do things to try to push velo, and that's where you get hurt. So I'm sure that's part of why they got him out of there. A, he wasn't effective, and there was something weird going on with his body. But B, you don't want him to overcompensate in some other way and end up hurting himself. So really weird situation. Appreciate honestly, I appreciate the honesty and the candor to go along with this. Like, you don't expect to hear fatigue related issues as being a reason that a player gets taken out of a game. But that's what they went with. And essentially that's what it was, even if it's not maybe your mine exact definition of that. The Extra Innings Show is presented by Gray Bar. Gray Bar is your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. We'll take a break. When we come back, start getting into these text messages and tweets that are coming in. You can call as well. If you want to call or text, the phone number is 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. You can tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. Or you can leave a chat on the video if you're watching on the video stream, and we'll take a look at that as well. So stick with us. It's the Extra Innings Show on KMOX.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we are more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. From startups to established businesses to estate plans, we are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. With offices in Missouri and Illinois, you can conveniently visit us today at sandbergphoenix.com. That's sandbergphoenix.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertising.
You know Gray Bar for electrical parts, but there's one more thing you may not be thinking of us for that can help maximize your next project's total value. Our pre-project planning services are designed to help you win the bid, save on labor costs, and keep your installers productive across your entire build. The sooner you call us, the better. Because when we're there from the beginning, we can anticipate your needs and help you solve problems before they become problems. Yep, Gray Bar does that.
Now, back to the Verizon Extra Innings Show.
Cardinals split a doubleheader today. They knock off the Royals in game 1, 6-5 in 10 innings, but they lose the second game by a 7-5 score. It's the Extra Innings Show here on KMOX. Again, if you want to join us, call or text 314-436-7900, 314-436-7900. Tweet at me at Matt Pauley on air, or leave a chat on the video stream for those of you who are watching on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. Let's grab our first phone call of the night. John has given us a call. Hey, John, you're on the Extra Innings Show.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. Well, first up, I'm going to admit I do not know anything about pitching. They say the pitchers are of a different breed, but I don't understand it. But I'm just concerned about Liberatore. I mean, is this the end for him? I mean, could it be like that pitcher? He pitched for La Russa, and then all of a sudden his arm went wild in the World Series, and he never pitched again. I mean, how do you get out of sync? You know, I don't understand. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, John, appreciate the phone call. I appreciate calls like that, because sometimes we use terms and phrases that maybe some people hear and go, what are you talking about? Like, well, what do you mean he's out of sync? And this is not a Rick Ankiel situation, the pitcher I assume that you are alluding to right there. There are there are a lot of moving parts to delivering a pitch. And you're moving your upper body. And look, I'm not a pitching coach or anything like that. This is something that I'd love to have this conversation a little bit more with Kevin Wheeler alongside, because as somebody who played at a pretty high level and continues to work as a coach, he would probably use words that make more sense than I'll make, but I'll go at it nonetheless. When you're doing anything, there is the syncing up of pretty much your entire body, your upper body, your lower body, and then even more specifically, different things that you're trying to do. And it all works in concert to be able to deliver a pitch. And it is easy to get out of whack. Like guys who are taller can get out of whack easier because there's more legs and more arms, and repeating a pitch and things like that are that much tougher. Now, I think there's two separate things here. So am I worried about a Rick Ankiel situation with Matthew Liberatore? No, not at all. Not that wouldn't even gone into my brain unless somebody said it to me. But am I concerned about the trajectory that Liberatore's on right now, especially when we consider his importance to the team? Because there are some questions right now when it comes to what the Cardinals are getting from a starting pitching perspective. And that's now 2 straight games for Liberatore where he has given up more than you would like for him to give up. Gave up 5 runs in 5 innings against Texas, and then 7 runs tonight in 4 innings. So keeping an eye on that and keeping an eye and listening to what is said. Here's the other thing. He's never gone through an entire major league season as a starting pitcher. And not that we're deep enough into the season yet where that's really going to impact him, but it's also something, if the Cardinals make the decision, and this is a really tough time to do it, and I don't know how you do it because they want to go to a 6-man rotation for the month of June. The guy who's sitting there is obviously Michael McGreevy. I think he's going to be up no matter what. I think he's going to be the 6th starter. But if the Cardinals looked at this and said, you know what, we're going to take our foot off the pedal a little bit here with Liberatore and just kind of let him get a bit of a reset and skip him a start or something like that. Like, I think that's a fine thing to do. I just don't know how they do it in the month of June when they don't have any off days, or they have 2 off days in the month of June. I was being dramatic, but you get the point that I'm making. So 2 things. So John, I don't think there's any need to worry that this is some sort of indication that the wheels have fallen off Matthew Liberatore and he's just not going to be a very good pitcher moving forward. But at the same time, keeping an eye on him and what's going on. When velo drops the way it dropped today, that's worth taking a look at. And you just want to make sure that he can get put on a path where he's able to get back to where he was previously. Extra Inning Show is being presented by Gray Barn. Gray Barn is your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. You can text into the program at 314-436-7900. Text message from the 573 says, another loss on Ollie. He should have taken out Liberatore after the 3rd. He didn't have it. Look at the Royals. They knew their starter didn't have it, and they took him out. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but what's been a little bit frustrating for me recently, we've talked about this before on this station, kind of the footballization of baseball, meaning people looking at the games as single entities that are not connected to the other. The Cardinals have 2 off days in the entire month of June. Starting pitchers have to be pushed a little bit. There's going to be times where a pitcher, it just has to stay in the game a little bit longer. They played a doubleheader today. This is the start of 12 games in 11 days. And no, you don't take Liberatore out. And comparing the two it's not even a fair comparison, because Reagan's threw 3 innings through 78 pitches. So he was nearing the end of his day from a pitch count perspective, no matter what. Matthew Liberatore pitched into the 5th inning and was at 71 pitches. He wasn't pitching well, and he had thrown 7 less pitches than Reagan's had thrown through 3. Liberatore was on track to be able to get through 5 at the very least, if he doesn't get a little bit banged up there. So no, Oliver Marmol made the right choice. And LaRussa used to say, I'd like to manage against you, and media would ask him questions about, or media would ask him questions. You say, what would you do? And you give the answer. I'd like to manage against you. Like, I'd like to manage against the person who would have taken Liberatore out of the game after the third inning today, especially in a 3-game series, because you're going to ruin your bullpen. You're going to destroy your bullpen. You're not going to have anything left. There is when in baseball, as much as you want to win today, and you don't want to lose tomorrow trying to win today. I get that. So it's a fine line on this whole thing, but you can't just be taking guys out of games in situations like these where you're really going to hurt yourself moving forward. That's what it is. Text message from 618 says, you keep him in there. I'm sticking with Libby till he reaches his complete innings limit. Yeah. And this is a guy who's done a lot for you too this year. So no, I couldn't disagree more with that. Like, and that one gets me a little bit fired up because I think people look for reasons to criticize Oliver Marmol. And if there's a reason to criticize him, I'm not afraid to do that. This isn't it. We can have the conversation of, why is Valade in the lineup in back-to-back games when you're really trying to get Gorman some time? And I know the righty-lefty stuff, like that's the immediate reaction to it. Well, there's righty-lefty stuff. You talk so much about trying to get Gorman some runway and some playing time, and his righty-lefty splits over his career aren't terrible. They're not great. They're not terrible. That I think that's something to look at and say, hey, you've got an opportunity to get Gorman in there at least once today, and you didn't. But no, I would not be critical at all about the choice of leaving Liberatore in there. I just want it. What's on Deck is presented by Chesterfield Fence and Deck. The sign you have at the very best, chesterfieldfence.com. Cardinals, Dodgers tomorrow. Sonny Gray is going to go. It's going to be a fun weekend. Get to see the Cardinals test themselves against one of the best teams in baseball. They've been pretty darn good against really good teams this year. Good against the Phillies, good against the Mets, good against the Tigers. They easily could have won that series 2 out of 3. They played well against the Tigers, even losing 2 out of 3. So it will be fun to see how things go down over the next few days. And we'll be with you coming up tomorrow night at 6:24 pregame. Thanks so much for being tuned in as the Cardinals, they split a doubleheader today. Really good first game win. Wilson Contreras, the walk-off hit, 6-5 the win. They lose game 2, 7-5. We'll talk to you tomorrow for more Cardinals baseball here on KMOX.
This is Tom Ackerman. Like an MVP candidate, Chesterfield Fence and Deck, one of St. Louis's top names in home improvement, with a commitment to put quality and professional